Greetings, Algebra 2 students. This is Dr. Heron talking to you about Unit 2, Notes 2, talking about domain and range. We're kind of expanding on the idea of what's a function, what's a relation, and kind of how does that transpire and how does that work together. So as we look at this, and we look at what we're dealing with here, we're looking at what are the inputs and what are the outputs, and kind of how does that relate. Right? So when we talk about domain, what we are talking about are inputs. Okay, so it's like everything that we are going to put into our function or our relation, and a lot of times it's going to be your x values. Okay, your range is going to be your outputs. Okay, so your what f of x equals or what your y equals. Okay, in a function, remember, one input goes to one output. And the way to kind of think about this is like, this is your domain, this is your range, these are all my values. And as a reminder, the vertical line test, if you can draw a vertical line and hit more than 1 point, it is not a function. So this one would be not a function. Okay, and kind of a bigger way to think about it is your domain is kind of what is possible to put into your function. All right, so you're going to put this into your function, whatever that looks like, and it gets more complicated the deeper you go into math, and the more classes you take. Then once you go in, once it comes out of there, the range is kind of everything and anything that could happen once it comes out of the function. Okay? So now, your domain here is going to be basically all of your x values. So you're going to go -4, -3, 0, and 1. Then your range is just going to be your y values. Okay, so it's just going to be 0, it's going to be 1, it's going to be -2, it's going to be 2. And is it a function? Yes. Why? Because I've got no repeating x values, okay? I'm not saying like, -4, 0, and then later on I say like -4, 2. Okay, I don't have that. That's what makes it a function. So for here, domain and range, if you notice, this is a closed circle, which means this includes -3. This is an open circle, which means it does not include 4. Okay, so my domain, my x, goes from -3 all the way up to 4, but does not include 4. All right, so the way I want to write this is 3 is less than or equal to x is less than 4. Okay, it's less than or equal to because I'm including 3. What this says is that x is between these two. So my range, similar, I'm going to go up and down. So my range would include 0, but then it's going to be less than 7. Okay, this is a closed off, this is a segment. So once again, yes, that's going to be a function. So finally, so this one, if you look, open circle, but everything in between. So it's going to be -5 less than x less than 3. So then my range, I top out here at 5 and I bottom out here at -3. That's going to include those. Sorry, don't want to do that. Nope, I want to write -3 less than or equal to 5. And is this a function? Nope, fails vertical line in multiple places, so I cannot use that. So that is going to be my domain and my range. No, it's not going to be a function. So here, my domain. I've got nothing over in this region. I have nothing at 2, but once I'm past 2, I'm going to go here, then I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go up, up, and away, and I keep going forever. So in this case, my domain starts just beyond 2. And for my range going up, I've got nothing down here, but I kind of start right by -2. So it's going to be greater than -2. So is that a function? Yes. I can draw a vertical line and not hit more than one point on the graph. So here, so my domain's actually in a couple different places. Actually, because this is open and this is closed, but then this is open, this is closed, my domain goes from here all the way over to here. So this domain actually starts at -4 is less than x is less than or equal to 5. Because everywhere in between -4 and 5, there's some value. It might be in a weird place, but there's some value. All right, so my range can only be 3 things, okay? My range either is equal to either 3, -2, or 1. That's the only values that my range can be. And believe it or not, yes, it is a function. Because even if I draw a vertical line here, this is technically not on the line. Same thing if I draw a vertical line here, that's technically not on the line. That's called a stepwise function. All right, this one is a x to the 4th function, some variation of that. So these kind of continue on forever. So my domain, it keeps going that way and keeps going that way. So my domain is going to be all real numbers, all right? So the real set is basically all real numbers is going to be in my domain. My range, I bottom out here at -2. So my range is going to be everything greater than -2. So is it a function? Yes, that's all I need. Okay, play around with this idea, kind of get your heads wrapped around it, and play around with the calculator and kind of see how that can help you as well.